and welcome to episode 2 of PowerShop, a short video series where innovation meets limitless possibilities. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, this series is designed to empower you to harness the power of Power Platform. From automating business processes to creating stunning apps, we'll dive into the depths of tools, tips, and tricks that will supercharge your productivity and transform the way you work. So today, we'd like to showcase the possibilities of invoice management and how it can be automated in under 10 minutes.
Yes, Mahesh. As you know, our organization receive tons of invoices, and the process looks like you receive an email with the invoice as an attachment, and a person downloads and says it's correct for the structure, manually enters the data into existing ERP applications, and then passes it into finance for payment.
Right. And there are a ton of things that happen between that, right? So there's errors due to manual data entry. There's multiple back and forth between the system of record, whatever your ERP system is and your folder structure is, eventually costing a lot of time and money for your organization. So Idil, the question I have for you is there anything Power Platform can do here?
Yeah, definitely. Power Platform can help you out here from gathering the data from the invoices to insert them automatically to your systems, whether it's Dynamics Finance and Ops or SAP or whatever you use within your company.
Okay, so how about we showcase that?
Sure. I'm going to share my screen. So, yeah, here we are. We are at the homepage of Power Apps, and as we are used to, now we go again with the Copilot asking about building an app here. And then we talk about invoices. So we're going to ask to a Copilot to create us an application. So they would say create an invoice manager app for my customer. And then we click enter, and Copilot will go on and create the app. So here we go. We have the data model created from the Copilot for us, but I will still edit it a little bit because I want to match actually my invoice. And my invoice is here, and I will get from my invoice, let's say the customer name, the address, invoice number if it's needed, quantity, description, unit price, and total. So those are not included there, as I see. So I will do some changes and, as I mentioned, match it to my invoice.
And by changing, you mean that you're going to manually change everything, or are you going to leverage the Copilot here, Idil?
We're going to leverage, again, Copilot. We're going to describe everything we want, and the Copilot will actually do it for us. By the way, we can change right away the invoice manager name here on the table, which makes no sense. We're going to say change table name to invoice management, right? And that will go and change it for us. So we have done some changes to the table. As you can see on the right side, we have added the quantity column, unit price, and a total column, as we mentioned, to match our PDF, our invoice structure, and those are added at the end. So when we are ready and we have all the columns needed, then we start building the app.
Okay, so now the application has been built based on the data model that Idil defined and customized. And now I believe the next step is going to be about adding a new screen so that the optical character recognition features for invoice processing can be incorporated into the app, right?
Yep, exactly. So what we're going to do, we're going to left side, we add a new screen, a blank one. And in here, we go to insert and we find the add picture component. Then in here, before we start adding some documents here, we should make sure that the connection to that specific AI component is actually enabled. So in this case, we're going to go for invoice processing. That one here. And as soon as we see that one here, then we are ready to continue with the processing here. Now, on the selected item, we go on the on change property. And in here, we start actually inserting what should happen as soon as you insert you attach a PDF document. In this case, the invoice we're gonna attach here. Then we're gonna create a variable here. Let's say we call it prediction result, and it's gonna be connected to invoice processing. Invoice processing. Here we go. We're using that specific there.
Okay.
Dot predict. And then in here, we say which document we're going to use. So in this case, we're going to use the one that we upload here, which is going to be the upload image. Upload image dot image. There we go. Now, this one should give us, as soon as we upload a document, should give us a variable with all the information that the prediction model here has retrieved from the document we uploaded.
Okay, so what you've done is you've defined the formula as to what action should the application be taking when an image is uploaded, right?
Exactly. So what's going to happen here is, as soon as we upload a document, the results we get from the prediction module, it's gonna store them to the prediction result variable we have created.
Got it.
So we can give it a try right away. We play the app, and we select the invoice sample we have, and click on open. Now, all the information has been stored inside this variable here we created before, and as you can see, it's retrieving some information, fields and tables. And to retrieve a specific information about, let's say, a customer name, what we can do, let's test it out. We create a label, and then we call that prediction result variable, and from there we go to fields, and from the fields we go customer. You see that for the customer we have all the information that has been retrieved from this AI module. So in this case, we're going to go for customer name, and then customer name we go to value we want, and then at the end text. As you can see, the AI module has retrieved the customer name, which is IntelliCore Technologies, which is a made-up name. But if we go back to the invoice, you will actually recognize that the name is actually correct.
Right.
So the same thing we can do also for we duplicate this one, and we just change the customer name here to customer address, for example. And then you'll see that the address is also correct. Right?
That's cool.
Exactly. Okay.
So imagine it, just I'm having this application on my phone, and I take a picture of the invoice, which is, either it has arrived over an email or it's in a physical copy. And with the click of a button, I create a new record in the application with the name of the customer, the address, the total amount of the invoice, and so on. Is that possible?
Yeah, of course. If you want to start inserting this data you retrieve to the Dataverse table, then you should go with a button. And on a click of this button, you want the predicted information to send them to to add a new row to this table. And to do that, you should work with the patch function. You choose which table you want to patch. On the second part here, you insert defaults, meaning that you want to insert a new record. And in here, we're going to use a curly bracket to actually tell which fields we're going to update. We're actually going to update in the record. So in this case, we go for invoice number, which is very important. And then to retrieve that, we go for the prediction result, the variable we created earlier. Then we specify fields and tables. We're gonna find the difference later on. I'm going to show you what that means. In this case, we're going to go for fields. And we're going to find the invoice ID, and then the value, and then at the end text. So
Okay,
this is
so
going to
the
be
formula is more like what is the table you want the information to be parsed to, then the prediction result from the AI module, then the exact field that has been recognized, and then the value in the text. Okay.
correct. So as a second value, we're going to say update customer name with the information we got from the prediction result. And this is also a field. It's going to be customer name dot name the value text.
Okay.
Great.
And you're going to do this 4 or 5 times until we define which values we want to be parsing.
Exactly. So this is going to be actually a little bit long process, but it is just one time process. So you don't have to do it many times, right? So this is just once.
And if you're an expert in copy pasting, this could be fast.
Definitely could be fast. Thank you for telling that. I'm going to use it actually. Copying the information here, customer address, paste it there, change just that part there, customer address, and there we go. Now we have customer address, we go for item, right? Item description. Now here's the interesting part. We're going to go prediction results dot. Here now we have fields and tables. But if you remember from the previous invoice, you saw that actually item is part of a table in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the information are spread around the document, but this is actually the part where it's called a table. So we actually have one item. Then what we're going to do, we're gonna say select from the table, select the first item, and get the information. To do that, we go back in here. We say prediction results dot is part of a table. Then in table you find the items that are in there and the rows. Now this is throwing an error. Okay, so now you see there's an error. That means this is normal because you're returning a table here, but in this case, we don't want a table. We just want the first item of that table. So we have to say first. And from this table, just give me first. And what we are searching for is description. And then from description is the value. And from the value, the text. And then you can already see that the product A has been selected.
Okay. And I also feel that if at all you find this difficult, you can definitely leverage ChatGPT for it to write the formula for you, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, of course. We go for the next one. After we have found the item, we need the quantity. Sorry, item quantity. And then from here, we go again, prediction results, which is the variable dot table dot items dot rows. There we have to use first because it's part of a table. And then from here, we get the quantity. There we go. Great. So now we have that one. And last but not least is the total.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the invoice total. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy that. I don't want to write it anymore. Paste it there, and I'm not going to use customer address there, but total. Invoice total. Now we have paired all the variables to the columns in the database table, right? What that means is we upload a document. The AI module will predict and identify all the information from the invoice. And then with a click of a button in here, all the retrieved information it's going to be stored into our table. We can play the app.
Try.
Yes. So the document has been uploaded. Click on a button. You see on the top that something is working.
Yep.
And then if we go back to the main screen, we should see at the end that specific item that has been retrieved. So the customer name, the address, what kind of item, the invoice number, and that actually matches the document we just uploaded.
That's amazing on how simple and easy you've made invoice processing by just taking a picture, parsing the information into the app that you built with Copilot, and every data is now basically within this app. Now, the other question I would have for you here is, okay, the information is now stored. Can it trigger a workflow that all of this information that is stored is going into the system of record of that company? For example, Dynamics Finance and Operations or SAP.
Definitely. So there are many ways. You can definitely use Copilot to build one of these. You can add, you can trigger the flow when an item is added, as we added actually. As soon as the item is inserted into the table, the flow will start and bring this information to your ERP system or CRM system you are using.